We've talked a lot on this channel about men's penchant for self-sacrifice for the good of others. Their communities, their friends, their families. Men are willing to put themselves at risk to do the jobs that no one else wants to do. Men are willing to commit themselves to difficult and stressful tasks that place a lot of physical and mental strain on them. This tendency has helped us to collectively achieve great things as a society. However, there is one area where I caution men to be aware of how much of themselves they are giving to others who may not appreciate it. That's what we're going to be talking about on today's episode of Men's Mental Health. Hello once again from the Prim Reaper. Not too long ago, there was a lot of rightly earned criticism toward Tomi Lahren for her anti-male screed. You know the one I'm talking about. The one where she started her rant, "This is about the experiences of me and my friends from 24 to 36. We've all got issues," with a flippant, nonchalant attitude, and then proceeds to rag on men and boys for theirs. She says that every single one of her attractive, successful female friends have difficulty with men, and then instead of proceeding to look at hers and her friends' shoes for the proverbial dog feces, she proceeds to lay the blame squarely at the feet of men for not being sufficiently man enough to handle powerful women. Now, where have we heard this line of thought before? However, listening to this little rant, painful though it was, just made me think a little bit about what it must be like for men to hear these kinds of messages from women all the time. The implication is, if only you would do this, women would want you. If only you would do this for women, women would want you. And ostensibly, hearing this rant from someone like Tomi Lahren demonstrates that it's not just feminists and social justice peddlers making demands of men, it's clear across the political spectrum. Now, something I have talked about before many times, both on this channel and my own, is the dangers of having an external locus of motivation. Catering to demands like those made by Tomi is like trying to build your foundation on shifting sand. You can't get a real sense of who you are, who you want to become, and why you want to become that way. For example, I guarantee you that the kinds of men Tomi wants will probably look nothing like the kinds of men that feminist women, those who don't claim to hate all men, would want. So to provide an example of what modeling yourself on an external locus might look like in this scenario, say you decided you wanted to date a certain woman who says, "I would like you if only you were a bit more aggressive." So because you're interested in this woman, you decide you're going to toughen up a little bit. You change your appearance, start using harsher language, and start pursuing her more aggressively using harder tactics. Ultimately, your attempts don't really work because it turns out, despite what she thought she wanted, she didn't really want it from you after all. Then you wind up meeting someone else, and this new facade you've built up for yourself doesn't wind up working out in your favor at all this time. In fact, she becomes turned off and says, "I need someone more soft, who's not afraid to show his gentler side." And not only are you left feeling frustrated that you can't seem to get a consistent desire from anyone you encounter, you can begin to lose sight of yourself entirely after enough time passes. What are you really like? How do you define yourself in a way that isn't based around the wishes or demands of someone else? For many men, considering many of you have been brought up in a culture that is focused on what you bring to the table, this is not always an easy question to answer at the best of times. I mean, really sit and think on it for a moment. When is the last time someone asked you genuinely, "What do you want?" that wasn't about what to eat for dinner? I'm talking things like, "What do you need from me in order to feel appreciated? How can I modify my behavior to better suit you? And how can I best support you right now during this trying time?" Unfortunately, I wouldn't be surprised if many of you have never heard that. I just don't think that most of us, men or women, have been socialized to emphasize men's needs in that way. I don't think that this is only a modern problem. I think throughout history, men have been expected to be the strong ones, to make the sacrifices for their families and communities, so there is a long history of broad societal indifference to the needs of men. As an aside, I think that's one of the main reasons why it has proven such a challenge to get people on board with the idea of caring about men's rights and needs at all. But despite people like Tommy making demands of men in this way, I think we can see some small seeds of change beginning to sprout up in our society. We have advertisements focusing on men's struggles, asking men how they are really doing. We have services more gradually beginning to sprout up for what tend to be more male-centric problems. We have people beginning to ask men to feel comfortable with sharing how they are feeling. And before one or two of you crack your knuckles at that last statement, ready to type a comment about how people are trying to impose more traditionally feminine coping mechanisms onto you, I'm honestly in agreement that it is not necessarily a broad, productive strategy to push. However, I do think that, in its own way, it is a positive sign that some people are starting to recognize that there's more going on for you than just stoicism and self-sacrifice. They just haven't made the more logical leap from telling you what they think is best for you to asking you what you think is best for you. So that being said, that's a little bit about what I'm hoping to explore here, because in order to be able to answer that kind of question, you have to have some sense of an idea of what you need. What makes you you? What sorts of things do you appreciate in life? What sorts of things spark your interests, your passions? What struggles have you had in life that you're having difficulty moving beyond? If you could envision having a partner, what sorts of things about that partner would complement your life? Does having a partner even really appeal to you that much? Are there other forms of companionship in your life that could help fit that need a little bit better? Why? All of these questions are good things to ask to try to understand yourself and your needs a little bit better. Unfortunately, I have known many men, and I'm sure you do too, who honestly believe that having a woman in their lives will complete them, and that their lives feel empty and meaningless without them. Unfortunately, these men are those who are most vulnerable to the kinds of behaviors I spoke about before, trying to mold themselves to fit a woman's demands. And unfortunately, the men who do this, who are yet lucky enough to land themselves a partner, may be those who are more likely to find that they still feel that sense of emptiness even afterwards. I think that many men in this position don't really have a strong, positive relationship with themselves. They are hanging all of their self-worth on the whims of someone else. And again, I understand where this tendency comes from. As I mentioned before, I think a consequence of the way we raise boys in our society is a strong desire to want to feel useful to, even needed by, someone else. However, I think it is easy for this desire to become pathological, and for men to view themselves as having little or no value if they are not suitably appreciated by a woman. I think it is especially necessary for these men, and healthy for all men, really, to take a step back from that kind of thinking and take some time to get better acquainted with oneself, to try to find ways to appreciate yourself for being you, not for being someone that someone else might want. Having a hard time finding things to appreciate? Break out of your current habits. Try new hobbies. Try getting out and exercising and getting into better shape. Try volunteering. Though volunteering is often about helping others, the act of helping others without expecting anything in return can be a positive way to build up one's sense of self-worth. Get to know yourself. Take care of yourself. Learn to appreciate yourself independently of the demands of others. I'm not suggesting any of this raw, empowering, self-indulgent ego-stroking for the mere act of existing that is often peddled at women these days. By all means, build yourself up by doing things in the service of others. But if you want to do that, do it for people who will appreciate it, not for people who simply expect it from you. I strongly believe that when you're able to do these things I mentioned, you can start to build up a sense of self-respect that will allow you the confidence to seek a partner, again, if that is something that you want, that will complement and add to your life, not complete it. It will also allow you the confidence to tell people demanding you change yourself for their own selfish whims to take a hike. On today's stream, we're not only going to be talking a little bit about what I've brought up here, but I also have another article that illustrates further the true heights that female entitlement can get to if you aren't careful. So if that sounds like something that piques your interest, I encourage you to join me and my co-hosts on this episode of Men's Mental Health.